Welcome,
Hello.
welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the CyphaDen Chat. I'm your host, Tayamu Denko. I got my homie Pestilence with me as the co-host. And tonight's special guest, Apani B Fly in the building. Uh, I
Howdy.
mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, we've spoken in the past about doing joints. I know we've spoken in the past about getting you on a podcast. You wanted to get some things moving before we made that happen. And now we're here. We are here now. So dope, super dope. Happy to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, to me, so I dug deeper into your catalog. Uh, Probably back when. So the first joint that I ever heard that was brought to my attention, because I wasn't super crazy on like the real in-depth grind of like the New York hip hop, like when I first started listening to hip hop. I knew a lot of shit, but I think the first joint that came across for me was uh Can I Watch, like the joint with you and Doom, right?
Right.
And then that made me dig deeper into the catalog, um to where I found the Story to Tell record, the Estrogen single,
Right.
like all these things that you did.
Right.
And I was not as familiar, but uh like you're a supreme lyricist. Totally. I mean, the storytelling was super dope on the Can I Watch joint,
Mhm.
but like lyrically, I mean, come on. So
Thank
I so I want to know, where does that stem from? Where does that start? And if you could take me to a point in time when that starts for you, the inspiration behind it.
Right. Well, that's an interesting question. I think I've always been like a creative person. As a kid, I was creative. And I think I'm also like the kind of person that if I'm really interested in something, it's not hard for me to get good at it. So I always like to write. Like I wrote poetry when I was a kid, and I would perform different stuff, church, community shit, stuff like that. But my family was kind of musical. We always had like, an organ, or my mom used to sing in church choirs. My grandma was like the shit in her church choir. Uh, and my uncle played a lot of instruments, stuff like that. So um we always and my dad loved music. So we had like a lot of vinyls, a lot of 45s,
Mm,
shit like that growing up. And I grew up in a house, so there was like a lot of space. You could go somewhere and like catch a vibe or whatever. And we had my basement was cool in my house. We had pool table in the basement. We used to have all these zany ass like black light posters and shit like that. We had a bar,
mm,
but they had a turntable down there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I would go through my family's records. My uncle's records were there. My parents had separated, so my mom had some records. My grandma had records. Everybody had collective overlapping interests and some singular interests. So it'd be everything from like Earth, Wind, and Fire and Al Hurt to, you know, um, Dixie Hummingbirds and, old Southern Baptist gospel shit, Shirley Caesar, Mahalia Jackson, Billie Holiday, every, Ella, Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, Luther Vandross, Donny Hathaway, um, salsa music, um, you know, even some classical, stuff like that. So I just used to sometimes, I remember when I was a kid, I used to play the vinyls and I would just watch the record spin and I used to feel like I was there when they were creating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I was a part of, like I could, almost like it was sort of like a portal, right? Like I could see into the moment.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. So, I had the feels. You know what I mean? I had the feels for it. And I used to write. And then I discovered and I used to sing in the choir a little bit too, you know what I mean? And, like I said, I used to perform. So then I like discovered hip hop or whatever. And I just started, I was already writing poetry and I started becoming writing raps, that sort of more type of style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hooking up with friends after that, then, we banging on the tables. Next thing you know, we trying to go to open mics and, we just got serious. We felt like we was good. We loved it. And, we were young and into the culture, which was infantile at that time. You know what I mean? And that's when Source was doing 5 mics for verses
Mm.
when it mattered.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I
like
remember I definitely remember those days.
right, right. So those was the vibes, you know what I'm saying? And here we are.
Yeah. What was the open mic scene like back in the day like that? Like in New York?
Um, I mean everybody was there, you know what I mean? Like all of the people I think that are still fairly respected today, you would see them there, the making records cats, you know what I'm saying? Like Bad Seed, Gene, who was what at the time,
Yeah.
Quali, um, Juggernauts, wasn't just like open mics, but like whatever the shows was, Lyricist Lounge, Cats was popping, doing their thing. So, it was a lot of shit bubbling, different promoters. It was a couple of spots like, everybody used to go to, that was pumping Wetlands, SOBs,
Mm.
New Eurekan Poets Cafe, Bobito, Stretch and Bob on the radio was a big fucking deal. WBAI Underground Railroad. So it was kind of like a network, a circuit of, sort of, different places. I think, Rutgers had radio, they was in Jersey, but that was
Yeah.
what was going on at the time, so, we'd be ciphering, we'd be collaborating, we'd be scheming, with each other, etc. Trying to do our own things, everybody was motivated,
Yeah. Was it
motiv-
h-
motivated and hungry.
was it hard to get tracks to the Stretch and Bob show, or was it easy back in the day to do that? Because like now I feel like it's harder to get records on radio shows now.
In some ways, I feel like, first of all, like I said, that still was in its infancy. And the radio needed the artist like the way the artist needed the radio. Now things are a lot more saturated. And then also with everything being sort of, leaning towards the digital in terms of communication. Like um Bob was on the radio. Being invited to KCR to come up and be a guest was a different wave than anybody could go down to the open mic. They had a show at the New Eurekan, which was like, outlet for people trying to come up. Anybody could go down there and sign up to get on the open mic and, you try to do your shit and impress and then, make a link. You know what
Mm.
I mean? So hopefully that be the pipeline to next opportunities. You know what I mean? Get write-ups. The journalist was outside. Bob was outside. These niggas don't go outside. They get a piece of paper or email and if the offer sound good, if it feel like they feel like doing it, they do it. It's not really the same energy. That now the comparison to that is people like you. What I find, I have this conversation a lot with my people, and I said, I really wanna, what I'm trying to do right now. I've been away for a while, being an adult, raising my children, being a grown ass woman and such.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Focused on other things that matter to me aside from writing raps, which also matters to me. But my children come first, and if I had to, I'd do it again. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So, you know, what I'm just peeping now about the game and what I'm seeing is that, a lot of the people who are still here, that are pushing actual culture forward, and they're the nerds, they're not just sort of like marketers. A lot of these people more, regardless of their history, you have your old school guys. I'm not going to name drop, but you can use your imagination and think about a particular DJ, host, entity, or several. That old timers. They've been around for a while. You know, they're like establishment gatekeepers in a way, or considered at least whatever in their day to be gatekeepers. I believe we've already witnessed the end of the empire, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time for all of the buildings to crumble. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Actually see it around you. But the technology has made everything a lot more accessible. And a lot of the people that are pushing the culture forward are also artists and hobbyists in their own right. And that's why they have the interest, because they have the passion for the culture, because they're involved in the culture. You know what I'm saying? They're outside, in their own type of way. In the digital world, we are now in 2024. Being outside and being connected to people can look different than it did at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, technology allows you to reach more people. But I could go outside to the New York and find Bob, and I could get on stage and do my shit, and he could see me live and see my energy, and I could be like, "Yo, nigga, I'm hungry," and get on stage, and my show and my verses be like, "I'm fucking hungry." You know what I mean? And I didn't look like everybody, and everybody that got up there was on their own shit, and they didn't look like everybody. Now you have a lot of redundancy. Like I said, a lot of stuff is saturated, and no disrespect to anybody. Like I'm never pocket watching. I'm never in anybody's bag, man. We all out here trying to survive, and if you make it, God bless. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever puts food on your table, I'm never mad. You know what I mean? So, but you have a lot of things, and things don't even stick like they used to. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you put out some shit, artists touring that shit for fucking 5, 7 years. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was reasonable to wait 5 years for an album from a really big artist. It wasn't like how it is now. People's like, oh, we just got to keep hitting with all these mixtapes and raps in my car, and fucking bombarding people, all day long because nothing sticks.
Yeah, it's a definitely a different time. Like
Yeah, I mean
I,
that's not a way. I'm just saying that those are the challenges, which makes it feel like it's harder to reach people, because the distance and the detachment of the internet makes it harder to actually convey energy. You know what I'm saying? You're just another
mm,
comer. Nowadays I've been in the game for a while, so in some ways, I have an advantage because I have a catalog and I have a body of work that can speak for me. You know what I mean? And a reputation that speaks for me. If you a new nigga and you an internet rapper and you a YouTube rapper, that's views. A lot of people be paying for views, so you don't even know if it's real. Anybody could say anything. Anybody could make it look like anything. And when these people not outside, they don't know what's really popping and what's not. They got fake metrics for what's really slapping, and what's hitting people in their heart. So that's why people be like, oh, everything be feeling. You had payola back in the day, but it's just a different level because of the saturation now, and because you know people don't give a fuck. Like I said, it is no five mics anymore. People don't give a fuck about quality. Like people just trying to get through. It's like it's just business. It's transactional. Just more content. That's why nothing sticks. Like I said, it's all fat. There's no nutrition, and it just more content, content, content. Eyes is always on. We just scrolling. We need new stimulus all the time. You know what I
mm,
mean? So I mean, but still, that also means that because you have the internet and things make it more accessible. I'm not of the ilk of some of the people in my generation. It's like, oh, the shit is trash now. There's nothing. There's a lot of, because there's more access, some of the talented people, like back in the day, you just used to struggle in fucking silence, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Struggle in a dark corner by your fucking self. If that was how, fate hit you. But, nowadays, like I said, people can make a little push. You just gotta dig a little further. But then, you got platforms like Bandcamp and what have you, and you have algorithms to serve you. So, if you get a little savvy out here and you actually have talent and you do have authentic motivation, you can break through. Nothing's impossible. It's the energy you put on the situation and how much you believe. Belief is energy. It's all that I gotta be in alignment. But there's good artists out here. It's just you gotta go a little harder to find it because there's a lot of, shallow,
Yeah,
not nutritious shit, fast food on top.
I
The
feel that.
fast the food that's bad for you is always cheaper and easier to find.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I definitely feel the comparison. I love that. Pestilence. You got something for you got a question?
Oh shit. Yeah, knocked my phone over. But yeah, kind of along that same line when you're talking about like obviously the evolution of technology and the reach out of everybody and the culture's over 50 years old now, so it's been around for a while.
Right.
Um, do you think that we will see things come back around full circle to people caring more about quality than quantity, accessibility, all these other things from artists that they search out to listen to? Because I mean, from my own personal experience, like looking back to the origin of hip hop to where it is today, it seemed like, a lot of those pioneers and the people that kind of built the road to where it is now, most of those like really big pioneers are still, renowned. Their name carries weight a lot longer than even say an artist maybe 5 years ago that was really popping.
Yeah,
If they didn't keep their momentum, it kind of dissolved.
yeah, I think that's maybe true because of, like I said, the cycle of where we've been. But I think one, what's great is great in any generation, and every era has a signature frequency where you have people of that era that are able to tap into that and stand out and make their mark. So you're always going to have that. But I think that it's a it's a double-sided prospect because the business and the game is hard and it takes a lot to make music, and people take that for granted. Even people who make music take for granted, like you are literally, pulling a piece of your soul out. Like you creating something that didn't exist until you created it, till you thought of it. It's something that didn't exist tangibly till you made it into audio, something that somebody can engage with. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that takes a piece of your spirit. And for you to be able to do that at a level required to break through, because everybody's not going to hear your first record, more people hear your second record, more people hear your third record. So that's why I say it's a double-edged prospect, because there is no obligation for the game to find you. You know what I mean? You
right.
got to be out there. Like I said, you got to connect with that frequency and tap into what it is that you bring to the table that aligns with, you know, a place you could fit into. You know what I'm saying? In a way for you to tap into that frequency. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
you got to make people feel it. And nobody can tell you how to do that because only you can do what you do. You know what I mean? But
Right.
you gotta find a way to become distinctive. There's people that do that in a low vibrational way, you know, and then there's people that do that, to the highest good. And there's an audience for all of it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't vibrate high. Most people don't. You know what I mean? The majority of
Right.
people do not. Most people are in a program, and they just They're on a circuit, right? Like the life is a repetitive cycle, Sunday through Saturday, 9 to 5. My poker game with my friends is every day this week. I take my vacation every year this time. I got a timeshare and I go to this place every year. I go out every weekend. I smoke 10 packs a day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People are programmed to do whatever they're programmed to do, and who have habits and patterns that they repeat, right? And most people just, a lot of shit is space filler, right? To kind of, get through existence. Smoking a cigarette is a space filler. It serves a purpose, but it's a placebo, right? People do it to relieve stress. You could just make better life choices and be more ambitious and have a different quality of stress. Being blessed and having a lot is a big responsibility, right? So don't mean you don't have stress, but I'd rather be stressed out and have resources so that I can solve my problems than, be fucked up and when just anything goes sideways and fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's where most people are at in life with a lot of shit.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So you gotta figure out what you could tap into that resonates with people. You know what I mean? That's the job of the artist, So, and nobody's obligated to like your shit. Nobody's obligated to fuck with you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But, hopefully what you bring to the table can like level up society a little bit. I think that's, like I said, you're an artist, you got to bring certain things to the table. Certain things got to resonate with people, but I think, you just got to bring a vision that people feel like they can move with. It's kind of your job in a way to put not new ideas in people's head. You know, that's kind of the way that you stay evergreen, right? Like people live a long time, like you influence society. The world will never be the same after they meet you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That type shit. That's some hard shit to do as an artist. That's not easy. Everybody can't do that. Most artists can't do that. Even artists that
Right.
work for a living that's famous, there's a few people that maybe do that. And to be able to do that past your existence is crazy. Like people be still talking about you years and years and years and years after you're dead, like Elvis, Michael Jackson, Prince, Bruce Lee, Princess Di, legendary programs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm actually curious because you mentioned before, with like, you took time away, raise
Yeah.
your family, dedicate time on that. Um, what, if anything, has been different from like you as an artist, your process wise, from how you would go and approach hip hop before your children, and now that you're kind of, seemingly jumping back into things more. You have your children, you have that stuff, your priorities, you have higher priorities with your kids now, right? Than you had before when hip hop was, or whatever else was higher. And what, if anything, has changed?
In life, I can't fail them. Like I don't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like you by yourself, you do dumb shit to yourself, but that's like somebody else's life. I can't fuck it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What changed? I mean, that's hard to quantify because, experience and life changes you, right? So you don't think the same, you have different perspective. You know what I mean? Like there's levels to things. So even shit that you understood before you might understand on a different level. Like for me, one of the things that's probably the most salient is that you know, I'm of a certain age. So I just feel urgency and I guess I'm just a more serious person, about accomplishing my goals. And like I don't have a lot of stuff releases yet, but I have a lot of projects in the works. And I'm really just trying to spend a lot of time building efficiency into my as much as I can because like I said, there's levels. So the more you do, the more you know, and the more you know, the more you know. You need to know more. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to build as much efficiency, into the model as I can, you know, while I'm starting back up in this particular time. I'm lucky that I have a catalog to build on, but that was then and this is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, I'm doing the quiet work right now, like, doing the quiet work, the smart work, the boss work. And I got my little old equipment here and I got some stuff here I gotta move around behind me, but I was going to the studio, like working on stuff, getting my ideas out and doing references and stuff. But it's like so hard, like I'm busy and I have so many things on my plate. It's like so hard to like go somewhere for just a few hours. Like I've always had equipment, you know what I mean? And like
Mm.
I said, the level that you have to create to really be successful so that you can even tap into different opportunities. You know what I mean? I do like
Yeah.
a licensing work and stuff like that. So people might come to you with something very specific that they need you to do. You know what I mean? It may not be something, it might be your people's like, yo, I want to get you on this song, dog. Like, I need a verse. Like, just come through and kill it. Like, it could be that. Or it could be like work. You know what I mean? And there's very specific things that the company who's paying you wants from you. You know what I mean? So, if you could get companies to pay you and you could make amazing things and people trust you and say, we want to make great art with you. We're going to pay you to make great art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I can do that, like I said, I'm a working artist, saying, getting back to being a working artist. I mean, my other gig is that I do hair. So all my jobs are art jobs. I'm a master barber and a licensed cosmetologist. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah, that's what I do for a living outside of music. And I'm good at it and I do well. I work with I have my own cut business, but I also do hair color and I work with a big company, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I enjoy my work and I'm very dedicated to the service and to the idea of what I'm doing, empowering people, making people feel better, giving people access to an improved version of themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fire.
It is, and it's really cool that you can do something, as your other side where you're still tapping into that creative space. It's still
Right.
something that you're fulfilling your inner, peace with and stuff, so it's not draining you.
Man,
Um,
that's how I even fucking stumbled into it. Like I said, it's fire. You serve all day, but you make people feel good all day. It's like it's a great way to spend your day. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I would say even a doctor and a priest can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
People feel good all day. It's great. So yeah, I'm happy. But
that's dope.
yeah. So those are the things I guess that I say have changed. I have different experiences, and I got a different outlook, and I think I have a you know an improved standard in terms of what my output is going to be at this point going forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm very excited.
Can you
yeah.
can you talk about any of those upcoming projects? Or are you keeping them under wraps until?
Yeah, I can give you some ideas. Like I said, I'm still like building, but these are things that are definitely in the works and some bits even started working. I'm the furthest along through an album with the Jazz Spastics, a full album. So I've already started recording for that and several songs are done. And I gotta do a few more. And I can't really give any more details until the project is done recording. But they gave me like a timeline, I guess. It would be out, I guess, within the same year or within 12 months, 9 months, I guess.
Yeah.
When it's turned in. So, I would continue to keep people posted on that. Which is why, like I said, I'm doing a full album with them, and that's my priority project right now.
Okay.
And Shabam and I are doing an album So we were talking about doing an album, and it's not like a Poly album, it's a Shabam and a Apani album. That was the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And we had gotten some beats from a few different sources, but Spin had also given us some beats. And Bam is in Atlanta, but Spin is in New York. I see him all the time. So we were talking about it, and he was like, "Yo, fuck that, man. I want to produce the whole fucking album." So we're not trying to do a Poly album, but the Shabam and Apani album went to a Shabam and Spinner and Apani album. And we already have some tracks for that as well. And Shabam and I said we're going to keep the collaboration going and leveling. So we might also do some stuff. Spinner's busy too. It took us a while to get the beats from him in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, yo, my bad. Because we're supposed to. Oh,
Bless you.
Bless you.
thank you. Yeah, so he was rebuilding his studio also. So we were supposed to record it at his spot, so we have kind of more of a hands-on working together feel for it. That's the
Hmm.
um for that project. Um I got some singles here and there that I did for different people, like work that I licensed. I did a single with Connie Price and the Keystones, and Bo Dallas Jr. on some New Orleans, Louisiana Mardi Gras shit, you know, some Black Indian culture shit, which was cool as out. Um, a few things I got sprinkled here and there. I know I'm forgetting stuff, um, but I got a lot of shit on, and personal projects. So I'm recording for some personal things. I don't know if I could say anything, but I don't think it's a secret. But I was working on some projects too with Quali and J Rawls. They had just put out a project, but they're working on the next one already.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I already have some references down for that. So bunch
That's
of
dope.
yeah, and different people always asking me to do stuff, and so it's a lot of stuff here and there sprinkled around. Indigo Phoenix, my boy, Lex, lifelong, as he got some shit, you know, different stuff.
That's what's up. Um, so I know you said that. So the Apani Shabam record
Right.
uh is a collaboration with y'all, and then Spinner came in. But can you actually talk about the history of how Polyrhythm Addicts came together? Like how did it start? Can I get that?
Yeah, initially it was just supposed to be like one record together. Complex working on a single, and he connected us all together. I think I met Spinner from Complex, if I recall correctly. And that's how we all started working together. Like Spinner did Estrogen, and Spinner did a couple of other singles. I did songs with him on other projects and Jig Masters records, and we worked together a bunch after that. But we met, I believe, through Complex. And I knew Complex from Pharaoh. I think that's how I got connected to him. We all from Queens or whatever, but I've known Pharaoh for a very long time. Like when we was coming up, me and him, organized, but they was called STP at the time, like in Troy and Larry and shit. Um, as I used to call him, and I'm not allowed to call him in public anymore. We all had the same manager, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So we was all kind of like fam early, all from Queens or whatever. Um, and then, when I was young, we all kind of hung out. I definitely recall them like, mentors of mine. I was on Pharaoh's first album on
Yeah.
yeah, and what do you call it? I was on, I think the song's called 21 Questions on the second Organized album,
Ah, yes.
right?
Yes.
Um, I got a bunch of little credits and little shit. I'll be around. But I'll be outside.
Yeah.
Been outside for a while, you know. But yeah, so we've been people for a mad long time. And I think I know Complex Corey from those cats or whatever. Like, and like my boy Matt Deuce, so like I said, we all had the same manager. So it's my people from right over here, my boy Tez and my boy Edge, fucking my boy Dibs, Phase and Rhythm back in the day, they was on Tommy Boy. My boy Phase passed away like I think last year or the year before.
Hmm.
Saying so, it was Queens, like everybody be from Brooklyn and shit. Like it was really like live at the barbecue, like life and shit. That's how niggas used to connect in Queens. Like spread out, everybody driving around, hitting up whoever backyard in the summertime, whatever. Fucking large professor. He went to high school with me. We was in the same class for a couple of days, and then fucking was it Dropping Atoms or whatever the fucking first album was? Fucking came out for niggas. Came
That's
fuck
what's up.
got Hollywood, and I didn't see that nigga at school. You know what I'm saying? Um, but anyway, so Complex had us all on this song. And then I was already doing some work. Like I said, I've been, doing licensing projects for a long time. I never been signed like as a solo artist to a label. You know what I mean? All my projects was like stuff that came through my entities and we like licensed or distribution deals type shit. Whatever, one-off projects, whatever they're doing. Like, so I was doing some work with Nervous, like doing a compilation project. So I was hanging out up at the office, and I was playing them some shit, to get it back from them. And I'm talking to the A&R Mac. What's up, Mac? Macadocious, or whatever. And he like, yo, I know you always busy and shit. What the fuck you working on? I'm like, well, I actually just did because Complex was like, oh, I'm doing it for this and I'm doing it for that. Don't tell nobody, and it's fucking government secret and shit, conspiracy theory shit. I'm like, but I go up and he pressing me like, "What you doing?" So I'm like, "Oh, I got this record." But Complex is like, "Don't play it for anybody. I can't play it for you." He's like, "Yo, get the fuck out of here. Play me that record or whatever." I told him who's on it. He's like, "That's crazy." So I played him the record, and it was what the fuck was it? Not damn, I can't even remember the name of the fucking song. And I'm on my phone. Google. If y'all can pull up the track list, I'll tell you which song it is. Anyway, I played him the song. And he was like, "That's crazy." He was like, you spinning on the beats and Shabam and Complex, that's a super group. So he was like, tell everybody if y'all like fuck one song, y'all make it a group. I'll give y'all a deal right now.
Hmm.
I went and told everybody. Complex was like, "Oh, I told you not to tell nobody." I'm like, "Well, yo, it's a bag, bro. Like, what's up?" You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I wound up doing the deal. And I believe he negotiated for us. Like I said, I've been outside a little bit. My lawyer at the time was Paul Rosenberg from Shady Records. You know,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
he had negotiated the deal for us with Nervous at the time. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what happened. We did that album, but then Nervous did some dumb shit and was like, "Oh, we like literally, I think the day before the album was supposed to drop, we
Hmm.
got a call. They said, "Oh, we shutting the label down." They shut down Rec. Like I think Rockabilly might have still been there. They had different imprints or whatever. But the hip hop shit, they're like, "Yeah, it's gone. We dissolved
Hmm.
it." The day before the album came out, like because they had certain obligations for things they were supposed to do for us in the contract. You know, we didn't have any videos. We were supposed to have videos. There were certain payment agreements,
Hmm.
performance things that were supposed to happen. So niggas got tricks outside, basically. You learn,
Yeah.
you know.
Was so was it because of things like that happening? because you said you weren't signed to a label
Right,
for your uh solo releases or anything like that. Was
right.
it because of things like did you hear of things like that going down with other people you had known? Is that or
I
did
mean, I think at the time, I definitely was more eager to get signed. I was younger, you know what I mean? So
mm,
I had a different idea of what I thought success was. You know, so you um Pestilence was, I think, was the one that was saying earlier, you feel like even, or was it you? I don't know, 5 years ago, artists that came out, it don't hit the same, right? And I've
Yeah.
thought about that a lot too. I'm like, um, when you first come out with your first project, your second project, like I said, it take you a while to become great or somebody call you a legend, or, like I said, for you to really get your seasoning on your shit, you know what I mean? And to become important, you know what I mean? Your first record might be good and becomes popular, but it becomes important with longevity and staying power if it can stay in the cultural consciousness, in the collective cultural consciousness, right?
mm,
So you don't know that till 10 years later, right?
mm, yeah.
So, that's what I said. Like, for me, in some ways, it's even better. Like, then it's not now, but the fact that I have a track record and, my joints is still being discovered. I have culturally important records. Like, you mentioned the record with MF Doom, and my shit still be getting views and hits. The Doom record got multiple postings, but there's one that's got over 1 million, views on YouTube. You know what I mean? And some of my other records are, have a significant amount of views.
Mm,
And I didn't post any of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like all fan shit. And I could be handing out a lot of cease and desist, but like I said, for you to last a long time, people got to think about you. They got to like your shit enough that they motivated to just put it out there and share it with other people because they want other people to hear it. I was just telling my manager that today. I was like, yo, the least motherfuckers could do, since I'm not fucking coming after them for fucking bootlegging, is keep me hot in the street. You know what I'm saying? They could work a
mm,
little fucking harder. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah.
Right? Thank me
Yeah.
for my fucking generosity, nigga.
I feel that. Uh,
Yeah.
real quick. Speaking of, there's actually a fan question because I reached out to see if there was any fans that wanted to ask questions. There's one fan question that came in,
Yeah.
just because you had mentioned it now and I mentioned it earlier, but James Fitzmaurice out of St. Louis, he wanted me to ask you directly, how did the um, Can I Watch record come about? Like, how did that even happen?
Oh, okay. Well, it actually came about through the producer. I can't even remember where I know this cat from, but I knew him first. And he was like, he was doing a record that he wanted, a couple of things that he wanted me to participate on. Like I said, my catalog is like long, and I got all kinds of shit. I got all kinds of like, I got like real hip hop shit, but I got like all kinds of like weird vibey Euro shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
shit that I don't even be like, I'm like, I can't even vibe to this right now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, I got a vibe for it, but it's not necessarily my go-to vibe, I should say. You,
Mhm.
it's me on the record, you know what I mean? But anyhow, he had some like kind of weird experimental record that I did with him. And he was like, yo, I'm doing this Doom project. And I was like, okay, whatever. I just was like, like I said, I'm a working artist, so I'm always down with work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doom record is a good record to be on. It was great. You know what I mean? So um, we actually did that together because you saw how like it was back and forth.
Hmm.
That was the vibe to like try to capitalize on the fact like that's hard to do. You know, like now this. Think about when we did that record. The technology then wasn't where, like at best maybe it was the sidekick times. Remember T-Mobile sidekick? That
Yep.
was
Yeah.
Yep.
right. that shit is a fucking biscuit now. That shit is a brick. You know what I mean? So it wasn't all the Zoom and the stuff that we're doing right now. You know, for you to do a record like that, we do have just like a few lines and we're going back and forth. That's like pretty collaborative. So since we had the opportunity to do that, you know, that's what we did. You know what I mean? We just went back and forth right there and like recorded our pieces and like sewed them together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was cool. You know,
That's what's up.
That's dope.
Yeah. I don't I mean I don't want to keep you super super late because it's already I know it's already at 10:30 there or something like that. But Pestilence, you got one more question for Apani before we
Yeah,
wrap
I
it
got
up?
one more. So with you coming back now, you were talking about how when you were younger, you had different ambitions. You were, hot to get signed. That's what you were looking for. What is your like dream ambition for
well, you know,
all these projects you're working on now?
I think at that time, you know, like I said, everything was kind of the game was still in its infancy, and you know, just as a female, there just weren't a lot of different kinds of templates. You know, so I was young, like I was creative, but you know, I was still becoming professional. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like I said, I was creating a template, but you know, like I said, that you don't really know that at the time. I honestly feel like I'm kind of better that that didn't happen for me because you know, now because of where we are and the times that we're in, you know, knowing what it's like to put out a project myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All of the tools that we currently have that technology makes possible, you know, and I'm not like a little broke ass, you know, starving artist trying to come up from a demo tape right now. I got some things going for me and I got some challenges, you know what I'm saying? But the age that I'm at, I feel like I have and the experience that I have, I feel like I have my wits about me and enough you know, enough drive to, you know, counter program my challenges. You know what I mean? And then some. I already told you what the goal is. The goal is, you know, to become a legendary program. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's about the art. I'm chasing the craft, but I'm also chasing the business. For you to do good business, like I said, you got to be efficient. I got to build infrastructure. As an artist, that's hard. I got art. I got art brain. You know what I mean? But being out in the working world and being good at what I do, like I said, I have a business, or I've had several businesses over the years. You know, my music is a business, but at the time too, being a young kid, I didn't even have the outlook, you know what I'm saying, on business that I had at the time too. Because like I said, I was also having fun. Like now, I'm also a parent, so the stakes is high. You
Yeah.
know, all of the risks that I take have to be calculated because I can't just let it ride. I have children, and I have to provide stability. You know what I'm saying? So I got to make all those things click at the same time. It takes a lot of effort and energy on a different level. Then, like I said, now you also have the component of being an artist, and then you got to chip off pieces of your spirit, put your soul on the motherfucking art, stamp it on there, and toss it out to as many people as possible. Make that shit stretch as far as you can make it stretch. That's not easy. You know what I mean? So I'm just very focused right now, and like I know it's not going to be easy. It's a very ambitious goal. You know, even tonight, you know, I wanted to keep my word, but I'm even very careful about where I'm sharing my likeness because, like I said,
Right.
we in the times right now. Like I said, we talking about legendary programs. Oh, I forgot to mention another one, Tupac, right? Even Biggie, but Tupac for real, right? We're not talking about who's the best rapper. I think if you want to talk about who's more of a legendary program, I think Tupac,
Right.
Bruce Lee, then a Biggie means something to like a smaller group of people.
Mm.
It means less things. He represents less archetypes to a smaller group of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
Right. So I'm just like, you know, that's like just becoming great, right? Like I mean not becoming great, but you know, radiating the greatness. Like I said, being of service, like being an artist, like I said, you are of service. Nobody's obligated to like you. And even if you think you're the shit, the authenticity is, you know, you come to serve, you come to entertain, you know, you come to bring a message or whatever the fuck your hook or your niche is, you know. come to be a fool, whatever you're good at, wherever you're plugged in, you know.
Yeah.
So, right. So, like I said, I'm trying to reach people myself. Because like I said, now just having your image out here, like I said, years progressing, this interview right now, because I'm doing the quiet work, is not going to mean what it's going to mean in 5 years or 10 years or after I'm dead. You know what I mean? If I do what I'm supposed to do, this should be a very valuable piece of content for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time
No,
and
I'm just saying,
giving us all the insight too.
inviting me, but like I said, that's where the goal is at, right? So,
Yeah.
Right.
right, if that's the case, I need to be thinking about that ahead of time, and I gotta do what I say I'm going to do. And when you focus on your art and you artsy, and like I said, most people is vibrating low. It's easy to get lost and caught up and distracted out here and shit like that. But it's hard work. I want to bring what I'm doing straight to people. Want to I want to be the platform. You know what I mean? I'm like before I wanted to be signed because that was the model that I could see, that I could comprehend at the time. Now I see the vision is different of what I see as possible.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
No, it's really dope. But I mean, you've been dropping a lot of wisdom, It's
Oh
it's
yeah,
really cool
definitely.
that you came in and shared um it like you say you should do with your art. I feel like you treated this very much the same way, where you're really sharing like an authentic and well thought stream with us. And that's, I
right.
mean, always a blessing whenever we get the opportunity for that from people that really, really believe in this and live that. And that's, so thank you.
I mean, it's so like I said, it's such a hard thing to do, and it's not easy. And if you out here trying to do things that you ain't got in you, you chase like you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy. You know, do whatever's calling you. It makes life a lot easier. You know, but a lot of people are, fear to be their true selves. Like I said, a lot of people are conditioned to believe that they should follow the program. Like they don't want to stick out, they don't want to make noise. Or there were some people that were raised to condition to be that way, right? You know what I mean? And just kind of be timid and, you know what I mean? Unsure of themselves. Like, you know what I mean? They don't use their voice. They don't assert themselves. They don't stand up for themselves. I know you know people like that, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So you got to be out here. Only way you going to win is if you out here in your authentic energy all of the time. And that's hard. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
got,
absolutely.
so, but yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah. Do you real quick before we let you go, and yeah, definitely appreciate you to the fullest for being on here. But
Thank you.
um you used to rock stages like crazy back in the day,
Right.
earlier on. Now that so I mean, I'll just age it, whatever. I'm 42. I
Right.
still I
And,
still I still tour fucking pretty heavy.
right.
It gets more tiring. Do you miss like the older we get,
Right.
do we miss are
That's a
we gonna miss
glad that.
rocking the stages like we used to? You know what I'm saying?
Well, um, I got some work to do on myself physically, and it is grueling. Like I said, I've been away, so there's some things that are not, up to par like they used to be, like breath control and stuff like that. Even going back into the studio, like I know what I'm doing, but like, and I feel like I do what I do at a level that what I feel is great. I could probably do less, and people would think it was great. You know what I'm saying? My standard is different. You know what I mean? But I feel like when I see people like the energy exchange between you and the crowd is amazing. I like that, and I can't say that there's going to be a time as an artist. That's part of it. You know what I mean? It's one of the perks and it's one of the responsibilities because you're giving, but you're getting. Like I said, if you're doing it right, it's an energy exchange.
Mhm.
You get a lot from a big crowd of people pouring their energy into you and their focus into you for X amount of time. Even if it's 5 minutes, like the more people are electrical, people are batteries, right? Like you have all of that. Thoughts become things, right? Like we just talking about, you got a thought in your mind and it becomes a song, and then that's a frequency. You know, we can get into all that science shit, but you understand what I'm saying. It's a real thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's unseen. It's not something that people think about. You know what I mean? So it's like a power up. You know what I mean? I can't say that there's any point in time that I wouldn't want to participate in that. And I feel like with this next work that I'm going to put out, I got to go back out and I'm looking forward to it. I miss traveling and meeting people, and my other work that I do in the beauty business. It's pretty social, working with clients. You know, you're in each other's personal space and touching somebody. I'm in their hair, you know, while I'm doing their hair. I'm talking to, you know, all of the cliche meme shit about, you know, people telling their hairdresser all their business, all that beauty shop fiction shit. You know, that's my people, my clients or whatever. I think my dog about to come up here and go crazy. Anyway, you know, so you know, I have relationships with my people. So my job is social. That's a lot of energy. So I do enjoy that. You know what I mean? I think I'm well suited to that, but I do get, you know, depleted because, like I said, you know, you're a battery. You're charging up a lot of people. Like I said, my job, I'm serving. I'm making people feel good. You know what I'm saying? I'm using my hands and my energy, my physical body. You know what I'm saying? To perform a service for them that transforms them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm doing that in the physical, but then with your music, you're doing that, like I said, with you know, kind of, I guess you want to say in the spiritual, it's unseen. You know what I mean? Frequency wise, right? So I do want to do that, but I feel like, you know, if you want to treat music, like I said, as a business, that, you know, doing the touring and going out on the road and constantly having to do that is kind of the slave ship. You know what I mean? You're picking cotton. And I think with the, like I said, I see a kind of vision of other things that are possible. Like I said, I would like to continue to connect with people in person. Like, you know, I was talking about like being outside back in the day, to go somewhere and be outside and connect with people. And I'm good at that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, engaging with people in one on one. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to do that still, but I think I would like, you know, as I'm progressing in how I serve in my audio ministry, you know what I'm saying? I would like to change the distribution method or tweak it in some ways where it's more of a mix. You know, I'm not necessarily just depending on, you know, being on the road X amount of days per year to generate that revenue or to move
Mm.
merchant. You know what I mean? It's like I said, that's, you know, in terms of how you tap in with the frequency and you serve your art to people, you know, what other mediums and platforms, because, you know, you're also having this conversation all the time about people barely getting paid for a stream. So, you know, people can engage with art in a lot of different ways, and especially, like I said, using technology, a lot of different interesting things and platforms possible. So, like I said, you kind of got to, you know, be pervasive and spread out, especially if you're talking about being evergreen. You got to touch people in all kinds of intimate places and the places people are inside their games.
Mm.
Like I said, you know, there's other licensing opportunities, whether that's like, you know, commercials or, you know, everything is, it's not even like going to the movies anymore, right? It's like all this Netflix and, you know, getting your music in these types of shows. So there's other ways to, you know what I mean, to impress your energy upon people. You got to find interesting ways to touch people. And, you know, I have a family, I have young children. That's why I had to chill out from music because I couldn't tour. And that's, you know, mostly what I was doing. I'm more popular outside of America than I am inside America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that being the case, since I had to, you know, kind of zig when I was zagging, now I'm having a baby. I can't do things I used to do. I have a person growing inside me, like straight up, not like just because I have children, but like, you know, physically I become different. And then after you have the baby, you're different. You know what I'm saying? Body is different. Stamina is different.
Yeah.
Even your desires is different, like just biologically and chemically is different. I went to Japan, like, you know, I didn't know how to be a mother, but you know, I know how to do my thing, whatever I was doing. And people was like, "Oh, when you gonna come back out or whatever. And I did some work with Nujabes, and they were doing a tribute to him, and that was happening a couple of months after I gave birth. So I went to literally the furthest place in the world that I could possibly go, not too long after having my first child, and it was like the worst thing that ever happened to me. Because you have a person like literally like a symbiote growing in your body for 9 months. It's kicking, it's growing, like you have a connection to that thing. And then when it's out and it just needs you, and it's like, the connection that a mother and a baby have is crazy. You don't know what that's like until, I was hanging out with a bunch of fucking niggas. Like, what the fuck did I know? You know what I'm saying? I was doing rap shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know what that's like until you're in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, nope, you wrapping this shit up real quick. I was trying to, do other things, but then I have twins, and my twins I became pregnant with like maybe like a year or less. My son wasn't even a year yet, actually, when I found out I was pregnant with twin girls. So I had 3 children under 2 years old. So I didn't even have time like to go think and write rhymes and be creative. Like I couldn't even think about that. You know what I mean? I had somebody looking for me 24 hours a fucking day. You know what I mean? And needing
Yeah.
something from me, needing to get fed, and they can't do it for themselves. You know what I mean? So it wasn't even a priority. Writing raps.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wild times. But yeah, my kids are funny. My son says I'm like Hannah Montana because I got a secret life. And they got mad jokes. They cool ass talented. They mad funny. I'm baby snapping on me. But yeah, so like I said, now it's different now, but it's good, you know what I'm saying? And I'm an artist, you know what I mean? It's like it's about the culture and all the niche hip hop things, but like I said, even my other job, I'm just like an artist and I have to create. So I'm looking forward to, share my vision with people, and building that up myself. Like I'm not even worried about features. I'm not worried about like getting signed or any of that kind of stuff. Like I said, even giving my likeness to people. Like I want to serve the public myself. Myself. I don't want people to come and like my shit because of who's on the record. Like they come after me. They my people.
I feel that.
Right.
Well, yeah, this has been beautiful. I look forward to hearing the new music. Definitely keep me posted, or I'll probably see it when it's out there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Um, but
Okay.
yeah, I definitely look forward to it. Appreciate you one more time for being on the CyphaDen Chat podcast, presented by CyphaDen Music, where we inspire even though it's higher. And remember to never stop chasing your dreams, because you will never know what you are fully capable of. I'm your host, Tayamu Denku. This has been Pestilence. And tonight we had special guest Apani B Fly in the building, and we appreciate you to the fullest.
Thank you.
I will let you know when the podcast drops. We'll get some clips up and going. And yeah, like I said, keep me posted on the music. I would love to hear it when it drops.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you again. And we'll be in touch.
All right, great.
This is